Alright guys, I got some great news. Today I'm going to show you guys my new purchase. I just purchased the new Seakeeper Ride 450 for the boat. As most of you guys know, Seakeeper makes the gyro, which spins around and keeps your boat steady. But now I'm going to show you guys the Seakeeper Ride. This system will help with the pitch, roll, and yaw of the boat on the way. So basically this is just going to keep the boat stable as it navigates. And as you guys know, this boat is very small and there's a lot of pounding, a lot of movement left to right. All depends on the sea conditions. So this is going to prevent most of that. So that is going to be awesome. All right, I'm going to show you what's in the box. The motors, I think they're quite heavy. They're about 28 pounds. Just the motors. So this is very heavy pieces of equipment. Get this box out of the way. All right, so this is the motors for the unit, and each of them about 14 pounds. This is the motor that goes inside the Seakeeper Ride, and this is what tilts the Seakeeper Ride, and this makes a lot of corrections on the Seakeeper Ride. It's advertised as 100 corrections per second, so it's actively making corrections every second depending how fast you go. And if you look, each side of the motors have a anode, so that's something that you do have to replace, the anodes. They say that this has practically no maintenance. The only thing you got here is the anodes that you have to change. That's the only thing. So this is the motors, what comes with the unit. All right, this is the electronics. It's a box just for the electronics, and in here there's all the wirings that comes for the unit. Also the NMEA 2000 connections that is going to be connected to the chart plotter. This is the distribution module. It gets installed this way down, so that way the water doesn't get up in the connections, even though they do have a very good weather seal connections. This is the NMEA 2000 connection right here, both of the Seakeeper Ride units, and this is the power right here. And it comes with a bracket. This goes mounted close to the transom, because as you saw, the motors only have 9 feet of cable. So it's only to get you inside the transom. So that 9 feet will give you enough wire to get to the distribution module. That's why it's only 9 feet. But there's 2 cables provided of different length of NMEA 2000. So that way you can install the software module. This is a very smart unit right here. This is what's going to tell the boat how the boat is moving. This has to be installed vertically and also level with your boat, because if I install it a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, because the software module will think the boat is leaning to that side. So however you install it, that's how the brain of the module here is going to think the boat is leaning. So when the boat is on the way and it's going like this, it knows to correct that pitch. And also if it's going sideways, it also will correct that with the trim tab. Actively will change the movement of the trim tabs, which that is going to be awesome. This has an Ethernet connection right here. That Ethernet connection is what's going to get connected to a chart plotter. But in my case, my chart plotter is old. It's probably about 10 years old. So I called Garmin and they said that you need a new chart plotter, because you're not going to be able to read the Seakeeper software on this old device here that I have. But the people at Seakeeper Ride told me that the Garmin TD50 will work for the system connected to the NMEA 2000. It's going to read, as you know, the TD50 does not have an antenna, does not have a chart plotter. The TD50 is just another screen that piggybacks from the original screen here, and it gets all that data, the maps, the speed, also the antenna. It gets it from here and it sends it to the TD50. So the TD50, I will install it right over here in this area here, and it's going to be connected to the main chart plotter with NVA 2000, so that way I'll be able to run the Seakeeper on the screen, and also that's what's going to tell me all the functions and how to also program it. I'm very excited because I've done a lot of research, and a lot of the information I received is 95% positive about the Seakeeper ride, and I think that's going to help me. Also, when I have my wife on board, she can handle the seas like I can. So to make the ride more enjoyable for her and me, especially for her, having the Seakeeper ride, I'll be able to go a little bit faster, more comfortable, and hopefully it might save some fuel. Because originally what I do is I use my trim tabs. Using my trim tabs full down most of the time, right? And when you do that, you're creating a lot of drag and you're burning more fuel. Now the Seakeeper ride, let me show you the tabs, what they look like. All right, there's 2 ride controllers, 2 of them. Doesn't matter if it's left or right, they're both the same. See, this is the basket that goes behind the Seakeeper ride, and this is what moves up and down and catches that force that's going to drop your bow and also help on the side movement also. All right, and this is the transom plate. This is what's going to go on the transom, and this gets glued in with an epoxy. Very expensive. The epoxy is $200 for 2 cartridges plus the dispenser, but that epoxy glue, once it's on the boat, you won't be able to take it out. This is going to be part of the boat. There's a bunch of wedges here, 5 degrees, 4 degrees, and 3 degrees. If your transom is really deep like that, in an angle, you can put these wedges, or if it's just very little, you take the wedges out. The wedges get attached with this little indentation here. They got like 2 little teeth here, so they'll get attached together and give the Seakeeper ride the perfect level. If it's not flush in the boat, it's not going to work properly. And this is where the motor is going to go. It's going to go right in here, right inside this cavity right here. The motor's going to go in there, and these bolts here are going to get attached to the motor where I show you the anodes, that metal part. This is going to move up and down, and if you look at it, once it moves down, it creates that big cavity right there, and once it hits the water, that's going to slow the boat down because it's a scoop. It's not just straight down, it's a scoop. So sometimes if you don't need a lot of correction, this was only going to go a little bit like this, and if you need a lot of correction, the unit will go the highest it could go, but sometimes it's going to move very little like this. So this is the tab that's going to be outside. This is 19 inches wide, which is wider. The trim tabs I have, they're only 12 inches wide, so this is going to be 19 inches wide, so I'm going to get a lot more surface to help out with the ride. So I think this is going to do really good. So the installation, of course, you guys know it's going to be done by me, and I call Seakeeper Ride, and they highly recommend for you to get this professionally installed. But as you know, in this channel, we try to install everything ourselves so we can save some money. If you install it out there with a certified Seakeeper Ride, they could charge you almost as $3,000 or $4,000 from the installation, depending if they have to remove the old trim tabs, right? Because just removing the old trim tabs, that's going to take some time. They've been sitting there for a long time with 4,200. They're very tough to take out. There's a lot of work involved. So that's why they charge between $3,000 to $4,000 just on the installation. The unit is $4,500. Plus another thing I had to purchase, the TD50 is about $600. So that's another unit I had to purchase in order to run this. Also, I had to buy the glue, which was $200, and I had to get a Ethernet cable. The Ethernet cable with shipping came out to $204 just to get a 3-foot Ethernet cable. Can you believe that? 3 foot. So you see how this is racking up, right? You got $200 for a cable, you got $200 for the adhesive, and you got $600 for a Garmin TD50. So right there we have an extra $1,000 on expenses. So right now, to complete this installation, I am at $5,500 for the whole unit, and of course my time will be involved in this. This could take me between 2 days to 3 days to do the whole connections. Also the adhesive, if you have to let it dry. But if it's successful, I will be saving between $3,000 to $4,000 on installation by doing it myself. The reason I'm purchasing this unit, even though it's a little expensive, it's pricey, but it's worth it, is that I'm gonna install it myself, so I'll be able to save $3,000 to $4,000 on installation. So that makes it for me more affordable than taking it to an authorized dealer to get this installed. Plus, I'm very picky. I don't like people touching my boat. I'm very picky. I have to do everything myself to make sure that everything's done right. Just in case something happens in the future, I know what I did, and if it went wrong, I know how to fix it. If I give this unit to a professional, if something goes wrong, I have to do a whole lot of searching, right? So that's why I like to do things myself. All right, guys, so I'm very excited to get this unit. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna install it in a future video. And as soon as I finish, I'm gonna take this boat with a Seakeeper ride for a test drive to see if all this information that I heard out there is just a hype or if it's really true. All right, guys, I have a lot of manuals to read, a lot of work, a lot of thinking. Every time you're about to install a unit like this, you start thinking, where am I gonna connect this control module, the distribution panel, where am I gonna connect all this stuff that's not gonna get damaged? A lot of thinking, but I'm also very excited to get this done. And if you do have a Seakeeper ride, if you have any recommendations for me or advice, please share it with me. I'm new with this. A lot of my viewers in the past have told me, get a Seakeeper ride. And I did not know that it was a small unit. I thought they were saying get a Seakeeper, and a Seakeeper don't fit on this boat. Plus, a Seakeeper is very heavy. Even if I had the room, this boat will sink with a Seakeeper gyro. Now, this system only weighs between 50 to 60 pounds. About the most heavy is going to be in the transom. It's going to be the motors, which are about 20 pounds probably each. That'll be 40 pounds in the transom. I don't think that's gonna make a huge difference. So if you guys have any advice, please share with me. And soon, I'll be showing you guys how I install this on my beautiful crooked pallet house in the coming video. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Please let me know what you think about this new upgrade for my beautiful crooked pallet house. Thank you for watching, and always navigate safe.